Here we're going to go over the new lodging room status feature. First, you will need to reach out to somebody here on the advisory team and ask us to turn it on for you. Once it has been turned on, you'll find it under Setup, Tools for Offerings, and Lodging Room Statuses. You won't see any statuses at first, so you will need to come in and hit Create New. These are totally customizable, and whichever one you create first, there is a little note here. The first one will be automatically assigned to any existing rooms that do not have a room status, which of course none of them will have room statuses first. This will be considered your default room status. You can always change what your default room status is down the line. However, changing the default room status later will not automatically update all of your rooms to be that status. So just something to keep in mind. I am going to make my default room status dirty, and you can get as specific or general as you like. Maybe you just need dirty and clean. Maybe you want dirty occupied versus dirty unoccupied. Totally up to you. I am going to go with dirty unoccupied. As my default. And then I'm going to create another one that's dirty occupied. I am going to make one that is clean. And then you might want one that's out of service. Maybe there's a room that you have to do maintenance work on and you don't want anybody being assigned or using that room yet. You're probably putting a blackout on it, but it might be useful to have a status for that as well. So I'm going to say out of service. All right, if we click into these statuses, like I said, you'll see this first one is going to be set as your default. You can always change that to one of your others, but as I mentioned, it will not update all of your existing rooms beyond the first one you create. You can also set calendar colors. So this is what they will show up on the calendar as. So I am going to say maybe I want this dirty occupied one to be kind of this red color. And you can also, for whatever one is your default, you can pick a time that rooms will automatically change to this status on checkout days. This might be your checkout time. It might not be. I'm going to go ahead and say 10 a.m. Then I'm going to go pick my color for dirty occupied. Maybe I want it to be this pinkish color. Clean, maybe I want to be, a shade of green. And then maybe my out of service, I'm going to go with more of a black color. Okay, now that I have created my room statuses, I can come into Setup and go to Lodging and my rooms, and you will see all of those statuses on here. Like I said, by default, the status is going to be whatever the first status you created. So dirty occupied is that first status I created. So all of my rooms have now been updated to dirty occupied. If I change what the default status is later, it will not automatically update all of these. I would have to come manually update that. So again, just keep that in mind when you're creating that very first room status as what you want all of your rooms to be updated to when you're first creating these statuses. It is also important to note that the status is connected to the room, not to a reservation. So as somebody is being checked in, it's not going to automatically change the status. The only automation other than when you're first creating the statuses, that first status updating all of these rooms, the only other automation is that one we set up with the default status, where at a certain time that we determined at checkout day, on the checkout day, it will update to our default status. Everything else is going to be manually updating. So you can update them here in the room setup area. You can also update and view the status from if we go to the lodging dashboard or the housekeeping dashboard. Okay, so here is a lodging reservation on the housekeeping dashboard, so you can see that on here. So that is helpful. And if we download the PDF housekeeping report, that status is on there as well. So this can be really helpful for housekeeping staff. If we look at the lodging calendar, it's not going to show on the month view, but if we look at the 10-day view or our 5-day view, you will see those statuses here. You cannot update the status from here, but you can view the status. So right now we have them all as dirty occupied, so you'll see that. And again, that calendar color we selected is showing here. So that is the new lodging status. If you would like this feature turned on in your account, again, just reach out to the advisory team and we can get that turned on for your account.